What's happening, Jackson? What's happening, Jackson? To some of y'all, today's Thirsty Thursday. To some of y'all. But it's always thirsty for me anytime I'm drinking water, coffee, or juice. Every day is a thirsty day. Anytime when I'm feeling thirsty. What's going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? Today's another day. Yo, you ought to be happy. Whether you're going to work, you're coming from work, or you're at work. You might just be, what do they say, lying around. I just think about the movie, the Lion King. Well, with that doggone, yeah, how you just said we can have whatever's lying around. Well, you could be just lying around. Well, whatever one that you are doing, I hope you have a very good day today, and the week is going downhill. Going downhill. It seems like you're getting through it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad to help you get through it too. Yeah. So, but we still moving right along with what we got going on and everything. Everything's good on this end and everything. But in today's video, I kind of want to talk about a little bit about that stuff that's going on with MV Transport, because I'm starting to see some other things that's starting to become apparent. Things are starting to reveal itself. It's not nothing too, in my opinion, it's not nothing too bad, but it could be. Because I never had to get it. I never really thought about it in this way until I talked to somebody about it, and they was expressing to me, a lot of some of the issues that they had with some of the drivers, some of the old drivers, with the way it was picking up, dropping off, what I'm saying, that kind of thing. But this is no way to disparage them or throw them under the bus. No pun intended. No pun intended. But everything ain't hunky dory. That's what that showed me. We do stand up for the drivers. Yes, I do. I'm not. This is not no way contradictory to my stance. But responsibility has to be taken in some of these measures. Number one, you have some drivers, all they do is gossip. Some, not all. You got some gossip, you got some drivers that's constantly in your business. You know what I'm saying? Unnecessarily. And then they call it in a matter of joking with you. You know what I'm saying? I had a driver come at me one day. I was getting on the bus, and I got my daughter's cars parked outside my spot. You know what I'm saying? And he asked me about my daughter's cars. It ain't his business. Whether he was playing or he wasn't, that right there, you don't play like that. You know what I'm saying? This is not, like I said, this is not to disparage them, but they messy too. Because it wasn't MV Transport that was going all around that chambers talking to people. You understand what I'm saying? The drivers was doing that. Yo, y'all need to stand up for us. This, that. Don't believe in what they be saying. And let me say this. This is another thing. This is another thing that another point I want to make. Maybe this would be number 2. I have not seen not one driver at that paratransit meeting. Not one. I have not seen one driver at that paratransit meeting. See, some of them drivers that take off, they can come to that meeting. I've been going to that paratransit meeting for a long time, and I have not seen one driver at the paratransit meeting. So, this is just my opinion. You need to check yourself. Some of them drivers, they need to check themselves. The guy that's the spokesman for he's the leader for the union. He's I can't think his last name, but he's Charles. He's doing a fair job. Y'all need to sit down, be quiet, and let that man speak. You don't need to be going around here trying to advocate for y'all. You got advocation. You got galvanization. You got strategization. Those folks at that union is professionals. We got to get through this. But you got to give the same decorum. You got to keep the same decorum MV Transport is keeping. Because it's going to make you look bad. Let's look. Let's call the ace, and the spade. The heart, and the club. Let's call it what it is. Deal your cards right. If you deal them right and play them right, you'll come out on top. However your cards is dealt, well, let's say this. However your cards is dealt to you, if you play them right, you're going to come out on top. Know when to be quiet. Y'all got to know when to be quiet, drivers. You already got representation. Let them do it. He come back to the table to y'all as a collective unit and discuss. You guys don't need to come out here talking to your constituents. No. You don't need to come talking to the riders. No. Because some of them riders, believe it or not, got a problem with y'all. Some of them riders got a problem with y'all drivers. Some of them riders don't support you guys. I'm just going to call it out for what it is. I talked to some other riders. They don't share the same sentiments I share with y'all. But and then you get some guy come on the news, sitting there talking about giving them what they want. I bet you he don't even take the bus. And if he do take the bus, he probably have never encountered some of the issues that other riders have encountered with some of those drivers. I'm just speaking for some of the other passengers, because you got to look at this thing from all sides. Yes, once again, I do stand with the drivers, but I stand for what's right. some of them drivers do need to be weeded out. Maybe some of them drivers have been weeded out. But I'm going to tell you like this here. If they're messy, they need to be weeded out anyway. Let's just keep that a buck. I'm not for everybody. I'm for right. I am for right. The only thing I said was, if those drivers are not getting competitive wages, so this is business, baby. This ain't about nothing else. I ain't got nothing personal against MV Transport. I ain't got nothing personal against them drivers. All I'm saying is, if them drivers ain't getting competitive wages, that ain't fair. That's all I'm saying. Now, whatever rules and regulations that MV Transport want to implement upon contingency, that's what it is. Follow the damn rules and regulations. But you see, what I think is that they're trying to stay with the rule, stay within the boundaries of the rules from other companies. You see, that's what the problem is. They don't want to be so easily written up or reprimanded. See, I listen to words. I don't just listen to the overall rhetoric. I listen to the words that's being said, expressed. Because, well, implied rather. Because that's the telltale sign, right? Watch this, resident. That's the telltale sign of what's really going down. You see, because eventually you're going to change your opinion on certain things. You're going to change your opinion. You're going to change you're going to have your reservations about certain stuff. So I'm not quite, like I said, I'm not for no bullshit. Let me be clear. That's all I'm saying about the drivers. So MV Transport needs to be a little bit more. I understand this is a private matter, and I totally understand that. You know what I'm saying? Let me say this. I was about to say they need to be a little bit more boisterous, but I can understand that this is a private matter, and they have to handle it as such. Because it is private. This is not a public matter. This is a private matter. This is about them. This is about the drivers and them. It's private. Public and private don't mix. So for them, they can't jeopardize anything. That's the reason why the council members is not going to speak, because it's a private matter. Public and private, they understand public and private. They understand public and private. So that's an easy assessment. That's a very easy assessment. But my question is, does drivers know about public and private? They don't. A lot of them, most of them drivers don't know nothing about public and private. And they're going to jeopardize the whole thing. Just with their conduct. Like I said before, I said yesterday, you can't get mad at the city for not getting rid of MV Transport. Ain't no way, no how. You think the city is subject? The city gonna put their financial their financial credibility on the line? Man, they subject to be sued. said in the document that MV Transport has been operating at a loss. That means they spent some bread. That means they spent some money. Man, please. So stop it. Stop it. They need to stop it. Off the rip. They need to chill. Like you say back in the days, they need to take a chill pill. Whether it's in the liquid form or a capsule or whatever you want to take one and sit down. Man, running around like crackheads. Around the chambers. Man, they run around the chambers like crackheads, yo. I'm just keeping it a buck here. And I'm trying to tell them, y'all calm down, everything gonna be good. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? I say they're not gonna pass it. They're not gonna pass that. I was telling them drivers that they're not gonna pass this. Just calm down. So, but they don't hear it because they're too emotional. They're emotional. You know what I'm saying? You got to get the emotions out of this and conduct it like business. You got to get the emotions out of it. And once you get the emotions out of the equation, then you can sit down and air out your grievances and your concerns. You know, so. But nevertheless, anyway, so I don't land my plane on that one, you know, because frankly, I'm getting tired of this MV Transport stuff and this Jatran stuff because they're going to have to air out their own mess. You're going to have to air out their own mess because can't nobody, you know, it ain't nothing that the city council can do or the mayor. Nobody. They got to get this matter resolved. See, now they talking about, well, you know, it's really not really about money. So I'm looking at the words. Nah, I don't know my plan. I'm out. I'm not gonna say no more. I'm just thinking about it. You know, I'm just thinking about what was said this morning. You know. But anyway, but anyway, we'll move on to something else. You know what I'm saying? We'll move on to something else. So, well, we all know that. We all know that this this case with this Fortune case is still ongoing in an investigation. I'll tell y'all something. I ain't feeling none of this. I ain't feeling the Nolan Wells case. I ain't feeling this case either. And I definitely ain't feeling the Trey Reed case. And how all these three cases has been handled. I ain't feeling none of it. I ain't feeling none of it. I ain't got nothing derogatory to say. Only thing I can tell you is that I ain't feeling none of it. Because it seems to me that the same lingering, right? Pay attention to this shit I'm saying. The same lingering stuff that they're doing it in all three. They did it in all three cases. They lingered with the autopsy at Trey and Nolan Wells. It's lingering. And they're lingering now with this investigation with Miss Fortune. They've been lingered that case up north in Cleveland, Mississippi with Trey Reed. See what I'm saying? I'm not feeling none of that. None of it. You know, Joe, look, shouts out to Willie D. Cause yo. Shouts out to Willie D for bringing people on, getting people connected, boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? And then doing this thing. I appreciate Willie D for doing what he do. Because it needs to be done. But I ain't finna do it. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. And I'm right here in Jackson. I ain't finna do it. I'm not finna do it. I'm gonna tell you because because I see something totally different. And what I see is the white folks gonna do whatever they want to do. They're gonna do exactly what they want to do in these cases. That's what I see. I ain't finna sugarcoat nothing. They're gonna do whatever they want to do. He blowed it out the water. He blowed it out the water with these cases. You know? And I mean, he really did. He blowed it out the water. But look, I'll tell you something. I ain't that invested. Sorry. I'm invested in the city of Jackson. Because this city here needs to, hey, look here. This city here needs to be fixed. We're the only major city in the United States that I can see that has surrounding cities, and the city looks like shit. And then everybody blames it on black leadership. Everybody blame it on the Democrats. Clay Edwards. You got assholes like Clay Edwards. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. You got assholes like Clay Edwards and others. And he got a whole bunch of folks that's on his team that co-signs for the rhetoric that he spits about the leadership in Jackson. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look here. You can't save Jackson, son. You got a slogan called "Save Jackson." Nah, you can't save Jackson. You ain't said nothing in terms of you want to save Jackson. You want to make it your Jackson. That's what it is. That's what you want to save. You want to save it for you and your constituents. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, look, I'm not finna. For me, that's why I said I'm not finna be so invested rather in the Nolan Wells case and all the other cases, because you got jerks out here and it's bash the city of Jackson all the time, and they don't. And like I said, okay, what we doing? What we doing? And he got a lot of supporters, son. He got mad supporters. That support that negative rhetoric, that rage bait rhetoric. Rage bait rhetoric. That's what I call it. Rage bait rhetoric. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But like I said, and the thing about it is that, and like I said before, I say it again, I don't bite my goddamn tongue. He need to check himself when he talking about black folks. Like I said, we know what our plight is. If you're not part of the problem, if you're not part of the solution, then you are. You're not part of the problem. And say that. You just keep your mouth closed and go about your business and deal with what you deal with, wherever you stay, wherever you live. Whether you say you live out in Rankin County, son, deal with that out there. Put your radio show about what's going on out there. Let everybody here handle what's going on out here. You ain't putting up space jumps. You ain't trying to help these children. You ain't, man, look. You can't. You so far into your bullshit. Claire was so far into his bullshit. It's like he can't. Ain't nobody. I don't see no black community nowhere. Whether it's Washington Edition, Vernon Edition, over here on the west side of Jatran, the bottoms, none of that. It's gonna welcome him. They're gonna take a space jump, and they're gonna take a space jump, and ain't nobody gonna want to come jump on it. Oh, this is done by Clay Edwards. Who? Man, you catch from WMPR. Make sure that sucker don't get no what's the name? You make sure that sucker from NPR definitely get negative reviews. Let everybody know what that cat do to us. Cause it ain't nothing but a campaign. I know what it is. That's why I said I'm not angry. I'm not angry or pissed off or nothing like that. But you need to check yourself. Because I'm gonna tell you something, bro. I may not be angry with you, but somebody else may be. That's why you need to check yourself. There you got this big bad. You got this, you missed the big bad. You know what I'm saying? Say you part of I don't know what they call that crap out there in Rankin County. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what they call them cats out there. You know what I'm saying? About that organization out there. I don't care, you're a junior member of whatever that is. So what that means? What that mean to me, son? That don't mean nothing to me. That don't mean nothing to me at all. Like it says noise. Nothing but noise. Nothing but noise. Because believe me, galvanization is not hard to do when it comes to these thugs. When it comes to these thugs out here, galvanization is not hard to do. Especially for some cat like you. So you gotta watch what you're saying to people. I'm telling you, people, like I said, I may not be angry. Someone else may be. And galvanization is not hard when you got somebody angry, especially in the hood, as you call it, in messing with the Democrats. Yeah, look, let me tell y'all something. I ain't been saying nothing lately, but I'm like Fannie Lou Hamer. You get tired of being sick and tired. And yeah, we can turn it off. But somebody's got to monitor this mess. Because we got to see what the level of it is. You've got to, because you might argue with me. Somebody might argue and disagree, and you're entitled to that. But you have to understand the level of the rhetoric. Because just like someone that listens to him on his end, I'm talking to you, resident. Just like somebody on the end of Clay Edwards that listens to him could be angry too. Could make a decision to want to come into Jackson and do some harm to somebody. And Clay Edwards, they may not be advocating that. But his rhetoric incites and excite people that do bad things. You know? So that's why I said you gotta kind of monitor what he say. And I know it's not very easy because his job is to rage bait people. His job is to rage bait those that turns on to his show on that WYAB or onto his his podcast. And he's the only one doing it. And there's nobody out there checking his ass. Why is that? Why ain't nobody checking this cat? Am I singing a solo here? Am I singing a solo? Because I done sung solos before and I will sing them again. I don't care. I have no problem singing a solo. Because somebody need to check this dude. Now, like I said, I haven't been saying anything as of lately because I'm concerned with what goes on in my community, unlike Clay Edwards. You know what I'm saying? Good or bad. Good or bad. I'm concerned. I still am engaged. That's what let me use that as a word. I'm engaged with what goes on in my community. So, let me just be clear. So resident, don't get mad at me. Because I tell you, I monitor his show. I monitor his show because I want to see the level of people and how and what he's saying and what his rhetoric is. Because I'm gonna tell you something, his that rhetoric that he spews is very, very, how can we say it, indirectly toxic. Rage bait. Oh yeah, and yeah, he is a jerk. He is a jerk. So we don't have to say that because we know that. We know he's a jerk. You know what I'm saying? But let me tell you this. And he tries to put people down. And he's like the pot calling the kettle black. He talks about people and their grammar, this, that, whatever. You got grammar problems too. You got grammatic errors too in your rhetoric. That's why I say you gotta pay attention. That's why I say you gotta pay attention to words. So don't come off. He need to stop coming off like he, you know what I'm saying, like he perfect. Ain't nobody perfect on this planet Earth. Did you choose your skin tone, homie? You did not choose your skin tone. So, I'm not gonna harp on this too much, but he needs to check himself. And I will come back in here and I will say it again. I have no problems taking my gloves off for this fool. Cause somebody needs you. Somebody needs to stand up. Cause Jackson, for real. And I ain't a native. I'm not a native to Jatran. But I ain't finna stand for them nobody talk about us. Nobody. I don't want us talking about us. He'll sit up there and talk about this going down, this needs to be built up, this needs to be built up. Well, what was you doing when it was going down? This business need to come here. This business need. Well, what was you doing what was you doing with your business? Why you ain't in business in Jackson? And then you got businesses in here, he want to shoot them down. He shot to shoot Stanburgers down. See, that's why I say you gotta monitor a person. You gotta monitor a person like that. Cause they could be hurting it. Man, that man over there, Stanford, been over there for more than 30 years. I was a kid when they was rocking. I'm just keeping it a buck here. Excuse my excitement here, but I had to raise my voice because I had to raise my volume because, yo, it's whack, yo. I said, well, nah, you know, it's a waste of time. I ain't got no time for that. I got other things to do, this, that, whatever. I don't. I got time. How much time you got? I ain't trying to get no clicks and likes off this fool. But I am going to speak. I'm going to tell you what's real, what's right, and what's correct. And what's correct is that son going to need to put himself in check. Off the rip. Off the rip. See, that tells you, and see that the following that he got, it tells you what the feelings that other folks feel. They feel that way because that's why, look at the following he got. Let's just keep that a buck here. Yeah, I'm the new kid on the block. But I ain't taking no shit from nobody. I'll go to a mall. I ain't scared to go out in the public. Blind and all. And I don't have to be strapped. I'm just gonna stay in the house, man. I'm gonna park my truck and I'm gonna stay in the house. I don't go out like that no more. That's what he say. Yeah, because you scared. You scared somebody gonna get at you, son. You scared somebody gonna get at you, son. Some folks already came down there to that radio station and telling he need to calm his rhetoric down. Now, let me ask you a question, resident. If somebody had already went down there to WYAB and protested in front of WYAB, he wasn't at work at that time, right? What makes you think that somebody may not go rogue on this cat? Is this what I'm saying? This is what I want to avoid. I don't want nothing to happen to Clay Edwards. Nothing. Let me say that. Let me be clear. I don't want anything to happen to that cat. Nothing. Because the man should be able to say what he want to say. But bro, if you're going to say what you're going to say, please. You need to do it in the privacy of your own home. You need to do it on a private network. Because when you got listeners like myself, if I'm a listener, somebody else could be listening to you too. And I believe in equitability here. I believe in equitability. I don't want nothing to happen to nobody. We've seen enough blood and killings already. You know what I'm saying? All this kind of mess. You know? I'm down for increasing the peace. You know? And if I had to sit down with him and have a discussion, then I will. I have no problem sitting down. Having a sit down is the best thing to do when there's a disagreement. And believe me when I tell you, you know what I'm saying? There's no problem with that. I have no problem with that. But the thing is that, you know, we have to be mindful, all of us, blacks and whites, of what we say about each other. Because we don't know who we're appealing to. We don't. We don't know who we're appealing to. I might be appealing to somebody that may not like me. I may be appealing to somebody that may not like me. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying, but you gotta watch what you gotta really watch what you're saying. Because it's like I said, it's not about whether you're right or you're wrong. It's about who are you appealing to. Maybe that cat, maybe he a younger cat. Maybe he don't understand that. And if he do, I feel sorry for him. Everybody, we all got a job to do. We all trying to produce content so we can feed our families, or we're trying to put out information, you know what I'm saying, in it for our communities. You know what I'm saying? I mean, whichever way you're trying to do it, hey, handle it. But be responsible. That's all I'm saying. And that's it for me. Thanks for watching.